you back to Ford Field in a game with some seriously wild emotional swings. Stoney thought they were going to lose. He thought it was over, done at that point. But they did.
Stoney was not
Great
alone.
escape, heck of a comeback. Bottom line, massive win, and avoided what would have been a really damaging loss. Let's go. Giants got the ball first, drove to the Lions 39. Trick play, Devin Singletary back to Jameis Winston. Avoided Tyreek Williams, who had a chance to make a play. Fires downfield. Wan'Dale Robinson alone. Got there in time. New York up 7-zip. Moved to the second quarter. Lions down 10-0. They had 3rd and goal from the 11. Goff to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Man, great run. Great blocking. Everybody working. Getting him into the end zone. Lions within 3. But the Giants came right back down the field on 3rd and 8 from the 12. Winston to Isaiah Hodgins. Great catch. Back at the end zone. New York was back on top by 10. Just before the half, Jahmyr Gibbs took over. On 2nd and 1 from the 48, he burst through the line and took off from there. 49 yards down the sideline to the 3-yard line, and he would ultimately help cap it off. He accounted for 56 yards on the drive. Goff to Gibbs. Nice work there. Went into halftime down by 3. Third quarter, Lions at the Giants 20. 3rd down. Goff's pass off the hands of St. Brown, picked by Javon Holland, costing Detroit a chance to take the lead or tie. 4th quarter, Giants pulled out a trick play again. This time the toss to Gunnar Olszewski. He avoids the rush, throws it up, basically an arm punt to Winston, who's there, sheds a tackle of Derek Barnes, takes it 33 yards for the score. That was a collective groan. Lions were down by 10, but there was no quitting the home team today. They answered in a hurry. Gibbs just doing what he does, man. Outruns the entire Giants team for a 49-yard touchdown, and Detroit was back within 3. Late in the 4th, New York drove to the 5, 4th and goal. Went for it. Winston to the end zone. Rock Yassin got a hand on it, incomplete. How about that after what happened last week? Door open for the Lions. They moved to the Giants 41, 33 seconds left. Jake Bates for a 59-yard field goal to tie the game. Close, but he got it inside the upright, and he got it in the distance. Game tied at 27, going to overtime. In OT, Lions got the ball first. Do not blink, because there goes Gibbs. Not touched. Flew through the defense. Outran everybody. 69 yards to the end zone. Lions a 7-point lead, but they still needed a stop. Giants were going to be in 4-down territory all the way down the field. From the 27, 4th down and 5. Winston back, looking. Great rush by Aleem, flushed him out of the pocket, and Aiden Hutchinson finished him off. Lions get a much-needed win. They move to 7-4 on the year. 27-24 the overtime final. Excuse me, 34-27 the overtime final. Jennifer Hammond has a wrap from Ford Field.
Going into this game, the Lions had a pretty good sense that they would be able to take advantage and exploit the Giants' porous rush defense. But little did they know that Gibbs would finish with a career-high 219 yards. But there was something about overtime that Amon-Ra St. Brown said he knew Gibbs was going to get the ball and Zero was going to make something happen.
It was just crazy, like how I told them, like I was telling the coaches, run the ball. I think we got to run it early. And I told Panay running out, like we're coming right to you, like, and sure enough we did.
Oh, well, Saint, he told me to score, so I was listening to Saint. He told me to score. So, yeah, he said score. And I was like, bet. They brought pressure into the run, so I think who picked it up, like Brock and Saint were on the right side. I mean, everybody did a great job picking it up like it was nothing, and after that it was just so, yeah.
Man, yeah, that dude's as good as they come in our league, and he's making his claim across the league as one of the best players, regardless of position, and we're lucky to have him, man. He's so electric, and for him to be able to do that, to supplement some of the struggles we were having was awesome.
On a day when the Lions had their struggles on both sides of the ball, the big plays came when they needed the most. And for a defense that allowed a season-high 517 yards, Aiden Hutchinson provided the exclamation point with his walk-off sack on 4th down.
It was 27-17 with 10 minutes left, and I think everybody was like, oh, uh-oh. You know, and we ended up finding a way to pull it out, and that's what I love about this team. You know, I don't think we've really done that this year, where we've really been down in the 4th and made the comeback like that. So to get that done, it's huge.
Man, I'm proud of the guys. I mean, we hung in there, we fought. You felt like the next series was going to be the one that we were going to get the upper hand, and we did. You know, it's not easy to hang in a game like that where there's things that aren't going perfect. But at the end of the day, when we need it most, man, guys showed up.
So obviously a sense of relief and excitement for the Lions as they survive and advance in this one, but a short turnaround, of course, as they host the Packers right here on Thanksgiving. At Ford Field, Jennifer Hammond, Fox 2 Sports.
All right, official introductions from the Detroit News. John Neo, 97.1 The Tickets. Tony in the house. Great to have both you guys here. Found a way. That's really what you say about this game. They found a way, because there were times along the way where it looked like that was going to be difficult to do.
Look, the most important thing is they won the football game. I even said to you at halftime, they're fortunate to be only down 3. They did not play well today. They did it spots when they needed it the most, so you got to give them credit for that, and Gibbs was great, but the defense really...
Over 500 yards.
To Jameis Winston. I mean, I know he's had some good games, but that was absurd. Bad penalties. I think the first 3 Giants scores were a result of penalties, whether it was Hutch's offside that led to the trick play. There was an interference call, I think it was on Barnes, or the unnecessary roughness. There was another penalty. Things that they can't do in big games, and clock management I thought was a problem as well.
Yeah, I mean, certainly you could make a case at the end of the first half, if they call a timeout instead of running up and trying to clock it, you might have had more leeway to try to take a shot or two with probably 18, 19 seconds left.
There might have been some headset communication issue there with Campbell today at one point too. But no, look, it was a weird game. It feels like every Jameis Winston game is a weird game that looks like that. But yeah, this was not a, we saw that defense play lights out a week ago. Came up short. Wasn't their fault they lost in Philly. Today it was almost their fault that they lost at home to the 2-9, now 2-10 Giants. But they did make those plays at the end. Yeah. Rock Ya-Sin, as you mentioned, makes up, sort of redemption at the end there with that tip on 4th down. Robertson makes a big play there on one pass at the end of regulation, and then Hutchinson with sack. That's what teams have to do. Every team's going to have a game like this that they have to get through at some point to get where they want to go. But, man, it sure looks ugly in the
Yeah, they ultimately needed to make some plays. And I think the one thing to figure out, and it's that defense, it's hard to figure that out, as good as they looked against Philadelphia out of a game like that today. More often than not this year, they've played better football than that. I think your eye kind of goes to the offense and just trying to find the consistency, because we know how good these are, but the guys are, but the consistency just isn't there.
I think we're finding the problems with the interior of the offensive line at times, and Amon-Ra St. Brown the last few weeks, the uncharacteristic drops.
Yeah, we've just not seen that from him.
J-Mo had 2 or 3 today too, and you can't win big games if you're going to drop the ball as much as they have.
I mean, Dan Campbell's not blameless in this either. I don't think this transition to play caller has been seamless at all. The game in Washington obviously was perfect, but the last 2, there have been plenty of times where it's like, I'm just not so sure about that, and today was another one of those. They come through in the end, but it was Jahmyr Gibbs that bailed everybody out with those explosive plays.
Yeah, he's about a good as bailout plan as you can find. 264 yards on 26 carries, 49-yard touchdown run, 69-yard touchdown run, and a 49-yard run inside the 5 that he then finished off with a touchdown catch. I mean,
he's great.
The best, Penei Sewell, makes just one block.
Doesn't take much.
And turns around and just raises his hands. He's 60 yards away from the end zone. That's how good that guy is, that you can just call it,
it's like the old Randy Moss.
Like that,
right. If the defensive back's even, he's leaving.
24 on that. 24 is Belton or whatever. He's a pretty fast dude. He just ran right past him.
Yeah, and they did a heck of a job. And look, I think it was predictable that Amon-Ra St. Brown was going to come back and have a big game. Went over 500 for his career, 9 catches, 149 yards, and a touchdown. Again, over 100 yards for him. That is a team record for most in 5 years. But again, I think he'd be the first to tell you some of these drops have just been uncharacteristic, and one went off his hands. It was a fastball from Jared, but one went off his hands for an interception.
And we also have to thank the Giants head coach, Mr. Kafka, for not kicking the field.
I'm sure he's going to hear about that.
Yeah, I couldn't understand it. Look, we love when Dan Campbell does stuff like that. Dallas did something similar, and it did work today as well. They ended up winning.
I had no idea what Dallas was doing, but that's a different story for a different. I mean, you would stop Philadelphia the whole season. This is just a little kind of offshoot grab. You would stop Philadelphia the whole game. Kick the field goal, go up 3, let your defense stop them again. The whole second half, I should say. They were down 21-0, and then they started shutting.
So the Giants decide that they'd rather go up and put the game away, which I get.
Yeah, right.
But if they don't get it, the Lions.
The analytics say that was a terrible call too. So it wasn't just us old school. That was not the play to make. Look, it's a 2-9 team with an interim coach.
Right,
They're
so
just throwing 2 trick plays for touch. I mean, that was part of today's game too. too, because it's a team that has nothing to lose, and that's always a difficult matchup. Those trick plays early made a difference too.
We'll talk some more about this. Lions winning effort means a winning locker room.